All right, I'm going to walk you through how to create animation in Animation Studio. At the top, you could see basically how many frames this animation is. This was like a little demo reel I did for the app to show what it could do. I have 328 frames, as you can see, which is about 28 seconds. I think I have them at 12 frames per second, something around that nature. So we'll click on the track bar at the bottom left, which will show basically how the animation is set up in the frames and how many layers you have per frame. It also shows, you see these long blocks right here, show the layers that are also linked between the frames. One excellent feature in Animation Studio is that you can actually link layers in between frames, allowing you to have a static background or a static object and then to animate things around it. Okay, in this case, the object, which is static, is the logo, and then I have the paper fade in, as you can see, and then it starts to do its animation. So we'll play out the animation just so you can get a feel of how it plays out. When you're playing the animation, one thing you can do is you can actually press on the screen and move backward and forward to go basically fast forward or rewind through the animation, which is a nice way of scrubbing through the animation. But we'll play it through so you can kind of see how this animation plays out. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out so you can kind of see what's going on here. And I'm going to show you a few things of the interface so that you can kind of get a feel of how to move around inside the application, because it definitely has a lot of different tools that you can use to animate. The first thing you can do is, if you want to go into full screen mode, just toggle the top left. It will toggle the menu on and off. The leftmost icon, the top right, is for camera options, which I will demonstrate in another video. You can actually move the camera independent of the image, allowing you to actually get that if you want to pan across a scene or zoom in, or if you want to do things of that nature, you can actually move the camera independent of the actual scene. So onion skin as well, which I can demonstrate in just a minute. Right now, the next few frames are all really the same. It's kind of a repeated sequence, so you don't really see an onion skin there. You have layers as well on the far top right, which you can open up and see what kind of layers you have. You have a blank layer up top. You can add layers, move them up and down, layer options. You'll notice a few icons on the right side of the layers. The middle icon is a chain showing if the layer is linked or not. And what that means is that this is linked, and it's linked to the next frame's layer that is the same layer as it. So basically what that means is that with a pixel-based layer, a raster-based layer, if I change the content in the layer, if I draw something else, when I go to the next frame and it's linked, it will actually update that content as well. It's linked to the same image, okay? And if I have an object which is linked, an object layer, which I'll demonstrate a little bit later, if I move the object within the scene in one frame, it will actually move the object as well in all the other frames that it's linked to. Okay, the eye represents visibility, so if you want to toggle the layer on or off, you can do that. And then you also have the opacity, which you can change as well. These are your brushes. Okay, you just have 8 different types of brushes. If you want to change the size, you can do that as well. If you want to change the color, this brings your color manager, a typical kind of color picker that you have here. You have your hue, saturation, and brightness through this control, and then you have your RGB values, which you can actually define here. This is your color history right here. You can toggle between your last color and your new color, and you can actually mix also between the last color and the new color. It gives you a nice gradient. So if you kind of want to pick between the two. You can also create your own swatch as well, or import one from Infinite Design or Infinite Painter, and you can change the alpha through the bottom control. Okay. So this button represents the redo. It's a redo in action. Undo in action. This is to go to the next scene. This is good to go to the previous scene, and this the menu button will open up a series of options. You can play the animation. You can transform all of the layers, transform the scene if you want to reposition it. You can insert a scene before the scene. You can insert a scene after the scene. You can export, and this allows you to export into 4 different types of video formats. You can also access other projects and settings, help. Everything's kind of self-explanatory there. Okay. The add button here allows you to add an object to the canvas. You can add an object from your clipboard or an image, or you can also import frames from another video, which is kind of a nice little thing there. You can fill in basically an area of the canvas with a color if you want. You can fill it in. Okay, I'm not going to do that right now, but you can kind of get the idea. Actually, I'll show you how it works. Of course. So you can fill it in with color, and I want to see what layer I'm on. I think I'm on the top layer. Yeah, I'm on the top layer, so of course it fills in the whole layer. We're going to undo that. We don't really need to do that. So, but just kind of give you an idea. If you want to clip out something that you're going to reuse across all your project, you can click on the scissors, and then you can kind of clip it out if you want. I'm not going to clip it out, but you get the idea. If you want to select between the layers or different objects, if you have a lot of different objects, you can click the select tool and then just press on the object. I'll demonstrate that. I'll click on the logo, and it'll take me there. So then you have the track bar. This demonstrates basically all of your frames, your whole animation in a 2D type environment. You can see all of your different layers. You can see all of your different frames. You can also scrub through the frames if you want to navigate to somewhere farther in the animation if you like. And it allows you to kind of scrub through the animation. If you want to repeat a scene, or if you want to delete a scene, you can just click on it and it'll give you the options to repeat the scene or delete the scene. We're going to scrub to the end right here because I want to demonstrate kind of what I'm doing at the end. Well, let's go through here first. Okay, let me just kind of see. Okay. Yep, so a lot of this is kind of frame by, I'm doing frame by frame animation. Right now I have onion skin toggled off, but I'm going to toggle it on. As you can see, kind of the movement of the animation. This allows you to, if you want to like do an in-between 2 frames, you can toggle on onion skin, and so you can see it does the last 4 frames and the next frame. Okay, so you can see the movement of the animation. Okay, we're going to go to the end so I can show you kind of how objects work and how their controls work. I have 3 different objects that I have that I'm moving around in the last to kind of get everything to kind of click into place, you know, Animation Studio. And so your object control, we're going to click on one of these just so, so we move to the airplane. We're going to zoom in as well. So you have an object control. The left side of the object control allows you to flip the object. Okay, if you want to move the object up a layer or down a layer, you can do that right there without having to open up the layers bar. Or if you want to fine tune basically the properties of the object, you know, what its position is, its height and width, which is scale X and scale Y, or the angle, or even the you know, how much it's faded, you can do that as well through that. by clicking the right side here. If you want to move it around, you can just move it around. And if you want to scale it in or scale it out, you can do that as well. So kind of gives you an idea of how to manipulate these objects. I'm going to move it back into place. Okay. And then with that done, okay. So yeah. And so we're going to open up here. We're going to look at our clipboard so I can kind of show you, you know, what will happen when you first click an object. I have various different objects. I have the title, the airplane, you know, a bouncy ball. We're going to click on a bouncy ball. So it'll bring it in here. It'll put it on another layer for you called an object layer. If you click on your layers right here, you'll see this little object icon, which demonstrates that this is, it shows that this is an object layer and not a pixel or raster-based layer. And if you want to convert it to a raster-based layer, let's say you want to draw directly on the ball, then you can actually rasterize the layer, and that'll do that. It also rasterizes the layer if you move it down a layer. If you merge the layers, not move it down, but merge the layers, it'll rasterize them as well. Multiple objects can't fit on the same object layer. But if you want to keep it as an object layer, you can do that, which is very convenient. The reason why it's convenient is it allows you to move around the object independently of the pixels on the canvas. So it treats it almost like a vector-based object. Now, of course, this is a pixel-based object, so you know if you scale it really large, you'll see it become, you know, slightly fuzzier, but not really. I mean, it's pretty independent of the canvas, which is nice. And so if I scale it here and then I scale it the next one, it doesn't degrade the quality of the image that it's using as a source. I'm going to delete this because it doesn't belong in this scene, but just kind of give you an idea of how that works. So.